Hello, precious people. I'm Jacqueline Parks. Welcome to my channel, Stampin' Turtles. Today we're going to do some fall leaves, and if you're local to me, you are always welcome to come to a live class, which I have on the second Sunday of every month. And so yesterday we already did some leaves. This was my picture that I did. Oop, that way. This was a picture, and it was inspired from something I saw on Pinterest. And I don't know if my photo came out or if my painting came out as good as theirs. Let me show you what theirs looked like. So that was the inspiration. And I loved all of the mistiness and like the backgrounds and everything. So we're going to try and paint this again today. Let me see if you can see what's on my desk. So I do have some leaves on my desk that are from my yard. Nothing's really changing too much. This one is pretty. It got some red and green. And this is from my Japanese maple that's right outside this window, right that way. This leaf is from a crepe myrtle. And look at the pretty colors in there. It's already changing and kind of changing. Let me see what else we have. This brown. This one has some pretty reds in it. Can you see that? It's kind of hard to see. Anyways, so we're going to sketch out some on this new piece right here. And I found that showing people in real life. Oh, did I not even show any of that? You know what? Let me show it again. Because I hadn't. This is what I do, y'all. But look at this pretty leaf. So, hey, Jordy, how's it going? I'm glad someone is live with me today so that you can tell me when I'm not showing you what I'm talking about. Because sometimes I do that. I forget to transition to a different camera. But look at these leaves. These are from my crepe myrtle. And then this one is actually from a Japanese maple that I have in my front yard. Oh, thank you so much. I felt like that inspiration piece was amazing. If I can figure out the name of the artist, I will share it. Ooh, y'all look at the colors on this one. You can see right here just some reds, yellows, and then into a brown. So if you're wondering what colors we're going to use, I had this palette I bought from Hobby Lobby. Very inexpensive. I think it was 10 bucks, maybe 40% off at the time when I bought it. So check it out. It's got everything you need in here, like 24 colors. So this was the black that I ended up popping out and replacing with Payne's Gray. So if you haven't done that, I suggest doing that if you get this, because the Payne's Gray is the bomb. But if you don't have Payne's Gray and you need to make it on the fly, you can just use some burnt sienna and aquamarine blue. Those two mixed together, maybe 50-50. You got to play around with it until you get this nice black. So that's what we're going to be doing today. I've got myself some tea. I got my tea because I anticipate my voice going crackety crack, which is so strange that it goes crackety crack all the time when I'm on here. Why does it do that? Anyone know? Hopefully I will not dip my brushes in there. That would not be good. So a lot of times I look on my phone for inspiration, like I said, Pinterest, and you can go on Pixabay, which is a good copyright free type place. But today I'm gonna show you what I found on the internet that was kind of inspirational too. So this was a bunch of fall leaves, maple leaves that I saw, and I was like, these are very pretty. I love the colors. I love all the depth, so overlap and contrast between the yellows and the reds and what I would use as Payne's gray in there. So um, I didn't sketch this first, which sometimes I do to try and, but I'm not going to be real, what's the word, persnickety. I really think that we spend a lot of time trying to be perfect at what we do. And I feel like maybe we need to have more fun instead of trying to be perfect, if that makes sense. And let me see. My light just went off. That was my little plug-in. I don't know what's going on today. All the batteries are dead. So it's fun that that's happening to me. All right, and we're going to put some of these veins. And I've noticed that the veins on maple leaves go from the tip to the center. From the tip to the center. And that's interesting because I thought it was coming out from the sides. But there are veins coming out from the sides. So that if you notice, they're going like this and this. I don't know if you can see on my... it's fine. So I don't know, just kind of go back and forth. And these are real light. And there's somewhere that it overlaps. I always have an eraser nearby because you never know when you're going to make a mistake, which I probably make more than I want. And you probably do as well, but it's okay. And like you can barely see the lines down there. So if you're looking at the picture, well, you're probably just seeing what I'm drawing. But if you look at the image, you'll see that it's barely visible towards the center. And then, of course, the string or the stem. I don't know. Some of these are like twisted little leaves, which is kind of cool. You can do whatever you want. This is kind of just me doing my own thing. But I do want to show you what I taught everybody at class yesterday, which was really very helpful, I think. And that was the background. See, that leaf is supposed to be up there now. It's okay. But this is just going to be kind of a background anyways. And I'm just making sure I put some... And I like going off the edge. Definitely makes it more interesting when you go off the edge. And we'll do some little ones over here. No, doggies, don't bark. And this yellow one, I think I really wanted to kind of do as well, but I don't want it to be too precise. And then there's another one right here. And see how I'm drawing, you guys? It's just random shapes. Look at the shapes. That's something important. And, you know, I'm planning to do, I want to do a drawing class in person. So if you're interested in that, check out my website, which is in the description of this video. And, you know, just sign up for my newsletter. I have to send out a newsletter once in a while, but it's like very rare. I'm also teaming up with Coastal Makers in Robertsdale, and she has her own website where you can sign up for my watercolor classes. And I'm doing a mixed media, y'all. It's gonna be super fun. All right, so what I'm doing right now, let me show you guys what I'm gonna do real quick. Sometimes I get it all. Let's see if I can plug that in for a minute. Sometimes I don't have clean water right here. But what I would like for y'all to do first time around here is just wet your paper with the clean water. The whole thing. That's what we did at class yesterday. And this was the thing that had scared me when I first took a watercolor class was wetting the whole paper. Um, and so I was a little nervous to kind of teach doing this because I know for me it was overwhelming when we wetted a whole piece of paper and I was like, I don't even know what I'm doing. And then you try and paint in there and it's just very intimidating because it spreads everywhere and you don't have control because the paint goes everywhere. All right, so that is, let me show you how shiny the paper is. See the shininess? So it's all wet. Now you can use the same brush. So I'm using a flat, large flat, and this one is, I don't even know what number it's come off. So maybe 12, maybe 14, maybe something. So we're gonna do a quick little colors. And this is how you get the background, okay? And I'm getting rid of those little brush marks and blobs. And you rinse your brush and pick up some of that yellow. Yellow, yellow. Whatever yellow this is. I think this is yellow cad. So, if you want to use yellow ochre, you can use some yellow ochre. Look at that yellow ochre. It's kind of very pretty. And I'm not trying to make this where the colors are in the photo reference that I have. I'm just, this photo reference, I'm just doing randomly. In fact, let me use some of this burnt sienna or burnt umber. I always forget which is which in there. So I'm just doing that. And what else? What about some of this bright cadmium red? That might be fun to put some of that in there. And, we're going to do the salt technique. So if you don't have salt on your desk, are you even a watercolor artist? Because this is salt that I've kept on my desk for forever, just in case I need it. Let's put a little bit of brown, which is my burnt umber, I think. Oop, my leaf is getting in there. And this is kind of the fun part, is just making a background. And then the Payne's Gray, y'all. Just a little bit of Payne's Gray, which we'll go back in maybe to do some more. I like them in the corners. Look at how deep that is. That is a lot. Look at that spreading out. It's so pretty. This was a lot of paint up here. Yeah, so much. But that's okay. We'll just make it nice and dark. I'm going to rinse my brush. I don't know. Do I even have paper towel available? Probably not. I'm always trying to get more out. I need to keep a roll of paper towels right here. So, when you're doing the salt technique, and I don't know if I can zoom in on this. Let me see if I can. If I can zoom in, just so you can see what I'm going to do, okay? I want you to be able to tell when I'm doing this. So, this is still really, really wet. And look, it's not even all the way to this edge. Let me see if I can just drag it just a little bit. Go to the edge. Go. And don't be afraid to waste your paint. Like sometimes I've noticed students don't use a lot of paint or something because they're just being real. A little bit of salt over here. and I'm seeing it's real puddling right there. And I don't really want to put it in the deepest of puddles. There has to be this happy medium between um, not dry. You can't put the salt on dry paper, but if you have standing water, it may be too much water and it just dissolves the salt and it doesn't make the effect that you really want. So hopefully, I'm just putting little bits here and there. Let's see what happens. If it's doing anything. I can see it's doing something right down here. I'll just push that up just a little bit. I don't know if you can see it in here. I can see it with that, the Payne's Gray for sure. Maybe I'll put a little bit more up here. Just put salt here and there. I don't know if this is still too wet in there. I'm going to put some more. Because I just think it's kind of fun to see what the effect is of salt on your paper, on your colors. And that's the thing. You got to play. If you're going to do this watercolor thing, you got to play and have fun. So I'm going to let that kind of do its thing. You can watch. I won't move it from the screen. Maybe you can watch it do its thing. Hey, Pooja, is that how you say your name? Artist, thanks for saying. Nice. I love comments. It's awesome. Especially if you're new to the channel, think about subscribing and liking the video. It always helps the algorithm push me out to more people, which frankly, I just want to be able to share what I know with others. Because as a self-taught watercolor artist, I am so grateful for YouTube and the generosity of artists sharing how to create beautiful watercolor paintings. And if it wasn't for people like Paul Clark and Leron and Emily, there's like a bunch of different channels I've followed since 2020. And they've been just very generous with teaching what they know. And it just helps me to grow as an artist. And so this is really interesting too. It's making some kind of weird cauliflower right here. I don't know if that's what I wanted, but that's okay. You can kind of, maybe you can't see it. I'll just move this for a second. So right in here, you can see like the yellow is pushing against the Payne's Gray. And see that little area? I don't know. It's kind of pretty. I think I don't mind it. A lot of times it's about trying to figure out what you really like and your style of painting, what you really want to try and accomplish. So when I teach a class, I try to share my knowledge with them and what appeals to me as an artist, and then hopefully that will encourage them to find their own style, which sometimes finding your style is hard. But it's just like when you're learning to write your signature. Like, have you ever practiced your signature over and over and over again? Like trying to figure out what you really like about your signature. So for me, I always like to do a fancy J and a fancy, well, my last name is Park, so fancy P. And then for signing my paintings, I wanted to come up with a unique way of doing my initials with the date. And so I practiced that, right, over and over until I found something I really liked. Then that was what I ended up doing with most of my paintings. In fact, let me see if I can show you guys some of the stuff I've, well, I haven't, let me just move this real quick See, this is why you should always tape on a board, then you don't worry about messing it up. Come on, fly away, right? Let me just put it over here for a second. But this, let me show you real quick, like what I'm talking about for a signature, because it's super cool how I did my signature. So this is pen. Which pen is this? I like this size. So you can do where you sign basically in the corner, or you can, let me show you real quick. You can sign in a corner, like out of the way. So for me, I like to do this loop down and over. So that's my J. It's like a lowercase j, upper lowercase p maybe, I don't know. And then I put the year, 24. So that's how I do my signature on something. And you know, so that's just kind of how I do my thing. Let me see. Put this back on the table. And sometimes watercolor, this is what I've told my students, is like, if you're very impatient like me, you need one of these little hair dryer things to, need one of these. And mine is from Stampin' Up. I've been a Stampin' Up demonstrator since 2007, and that's just, you know, what I've done with doing paper crafts from then. And so now I'm doing, you know, the whole art thing, right? Watercolor, and a lot of the same supplies that I've had work for watercolors. And I want to show you this real quick. It looks really pretty. Look at all this. This is from the salt, and so is you really can't see it everywhere on here. There's a large section in the middle. Let me see if I can put a little bit more salt and see if that does anything. So see, I'm playing around, I'm testing different stages of this and seeing what I like. If I like, this part is really good. This was the part that was really not super dry, but it wasn't super wet. So it was like the perfect timing. Now over here where I'd put some salt was not perfect timing. It was still really wet. So I didn't do anything. So now we're going to wait and see if now it has a perfect timing for that. Which is kind of funny if you've ever asked yourself, why do these leaves fall, change color in the fall? And I was looking up, there's a good website I found that said something about the perfection of the leaves falling off the trees is basically to prevent them from freezing in the winter, and it shuts off the leaf from the branch, from the stems, and that makes it so that the tree itself is protected, and the ends are protected from the frost, from the freeze, and it won't rupture. So the veins in these leaves actually would rupture in the winter if they didn't go through this process. And it's just certain trees. So I guess crepe myrtles, maple trees. I'm trying to think what else out there. I think my river birch is changing colors, so it's doing its thing. But it's just so neat how God created all this stuff to work perfectly. So let me see what happens if I turn this on and dry some of this. Lift this up. Yeah, this is Arch paper. Arch paper is very, it is very absorbent. So like this is still a really wet paper. Like I could still kind of lift a little bit. A little bit, not too much though. All right, so we're gonna go back to that photo that I have on my phone. See if I can find it. So yeah, this is on my phone. Let me zoom out so you guys can see what I'm doing again. Because I think it's helpful to see my palette while I do this. I know on my phone when I'm watching a video, I can zoom in on someone, you know, when they're doing a video, I can zoom in on parts of it and then you can see. So there we go. How's that? So I'm gonna try and do like this orange, and I want something with a little bit of a point on it. So this is my round brush from the set, and this set was like $5 or $10. I don't even know, $10 maybe at Hobby Lobby, and I know Michael's has it too. But I really like the chisel at the end, so you can use that chisel to make lines in your trees and your leaves and everything. So we're gonna go into this with this orange. Let's mix up a nice light colored orange. And like I was showing everybody at class yesterday, look at, it's very saturated. You want to get lots of paint on there. Don't be afraid of your paint. Use a lot of it, especially in this stage. So the bottom is kind of a light translucent background, and this is going to make our leaves pop. So I'm going to follow along to that edge, right? And again, if it's not perfect, don't beat yourself up, because nothing in this world is perfect. We're all progressing. And I believe this world is our testing grounds and a place to grow. Grow in faith or grow in character, things like that, because I don't know, we all suffer and go through trials, y'all. But what a blessing to be able to enjoy painting, and what a joy it is to experience fall and the changing of the leaves. Like, there's so much joy around us, even if we are struggling in something. I'm going to try this yellow ochre now. See, I'm just going a little bit lighter, and I'm using lots of that color. Can you see what I'm doing there? Sometimes I forget to switch cameras and y'all don't see me painting. You see the side of my head, which is not good. So I see that we are viewing. We're viewing this. It's good. So this first leaf, I know it's got a little more orange in the photo reference, but that's okay if I'm not going to paint exact. I want to do my own thing. I don't ever want to be a carbon copy of something, because I'm Jacqueline Parks and I want to have something that is made by me and represents me and my style to share with others. And if I didn't, if I liked something so much that I want it to be, you know, I like the photo I see, the art I see, I buy that. Okay, if that's something I'd want to do, and actually support an artist who's already making something that I enjoy. In fact, I was going to talk to y'all guys about something. So the Jubilee Arts and Crafts Show Festival in Daphne, Alabama is this coming weekend, 19th and 20th of October. And I will be there, set up in a booth on Main Street near the Daphne Avenue. And so if you guys are local, come see me, come say hi, visit my booth. I would love to see y'all. And but what I was thinking, the first time I moved to Alabama, which was almost 20 years ago, when I first moved here, I went to that arts and crafts show with my kiddos, and I remember there was an artist there who had kind of like abstract, impressionistic landscapes, and his paint on his canvas was super thick, and it just was so pretty, y'all. I really enjoyed looking at his artwork, and so much so that I kept coming back to his booth. Like I'd walk around and look at other artists, and then I'd come back and look at his art. And I even talked to him a little bit, and he was making art from a landscape in Mississippi, and I was just really impressed with the way it looked. It just was so captivating. And I told him, I said, you need to be in a gallery. Like, this is not for you. And at the time, I didn't realize that, art shows and arts and crafts festivals, they can be for all levels of artists. Like, you don't have to be a particular advancement in success to be able to do an arts and crafts show, or you aren't too good for an arts and crafts show. Like there are so many levels, beginners to advanced to everything. And but at the time I was just thinking, wow, he's really good, and he should be in a gallery, and why isn't he? But I really liked his art, and so I ended up buying one of his paintings. It was kind of a small painting, and I remember it was like $150 or $140, something like that. And I wish I could have bought one of his large ones, but they were more expensive. So I was just very happy to support his art and be able to take home one of his paintings. And I still have it hanging on my wall, and when I look at it, I am reminded of the that day, and just how incredible the artwork was, and that now I own something that was hand painted by him. And but if you ask me what his name is, I would not be able to tell you. I think it was John something, but I need to go look it up and do a whole. Maybe I'll do a shorts video about it, because I think that would be fun to like revisit that. So right now I'm just, so I'm dabbing some red into the orange I just painted, because it's kind of fun to do that. Now is this is still wet. See how it's kind of bleeding out? That's why I like this Arch paper, because look at how it's doing. It just kind of, it makes the effects that you want. And you can't get this with acrylic. Look at how that's just gorgeous. There's like yellow in the middle, surrounded by some of that very faint reddish orange, right? And I might do some more over here. And see, that's the fun in this, is that you can kind of play with it and say, okay, I want some more red in this leaf, right? And I just want to have fun with it. I don't want to be, I don't know. For me, I love painting. I love just creating. It's always so much fun to see something come to life on your paper. Like it started a blank. This was blank. And now look at it. So far, so good, right? It's coming to life. um, oh, you know what? There's a lot of green leaves over here, but I don't know. I may not do that. Let me just stick with some of these reds. Trying to find this one. Let me see. So some of this paper is still kind of damp, but that's okay, because we want it. And you can always switch to a smaller brush if you're not comfortable using a large brush to paint these little things. And look at how far back I'm holding this. I don't really want to be super controlled. There are some artists that make photorealistic art, like watercolors, and they're amazing, and I totally love how it looks, and I'm in awe of it. But for me personally, I think that's too controlled for me. I like being more loose. I like doing this kind of stuff where you just kind of throw some paint in there and you just let it do its thing. And when it's still wet, that's when it's kind of fun. You can watch it do its thing. So I'm just kind of playing right now and seeing where I want to go with this. Ooh, I like that. I like it. I like it. So see, I kind of painted that whole leaf one color. So I think I used this orangish color, light orange. And that's why now I'm going back because I want to add some dimension. And you can still see the light spots from my salt. And if you mess up something like that little spot right there, just get some water and smear it around. And you can lift with a paper towel. It's all good. That's so pretty already. Already it's looking pretty. So where are y'all from in the chat? Let me know. Are you from Alabama? Are you from the United States? Are you from, I don't know, what are some of the other countries? I have a good friend from Russia who I'm like pen pals with. I love talking to her. We talk about Jesus and we enjoy encouraging each other to paint. And she does like hundreds of sketches, y'all. She's so amazing. I have not been doing a lot of sketches. So far this is really pretty. I'm liking this. And I hope that you guys, if you're painting along with me, if you're enjoying the process. So I'm going to paint this now, this little leaf right here. And you know how I drew this at the beginning, and if you didn't, if you're just joining and didn't see the beginning of the video, I sketched this out for y'all. And I was talking about doing a drawing class locally anyways for my current students and seeing if any of them were interested in learning to draw. And a few are. So I may end up doing that. I may have a beginner drawing class for y'all. Let's see. That looks good. And then maybe some more yellow. And so this is going to be a yellow leaf up here. And it's not real exact, so you can probably just focus on making some shapes maybe. And just kind of leave that out. And then this one, maybe this one is a bright red leaf. And just keep going. But it is, it's doing its thing of blending and bleeding into that other leaf, which is kind of cool. That might be what you want. But I know a lot of people like fall because of the changing of the leaves and the cooler weather. And if you live in the South, you know you're ready for some fall, right? Like it's been hot, y'all. It's been so hot. It's been a hot summer. Which I will be sad though because I really enjoy summer. That's kind of, I'm a summer child, I think. So I don't know. I think it would be fun to just have summer. But then people be like, I'm dying outside. And that's the thing. Sometimes we don't want to be hot when we're outside doing yard work, things like that. So I get it. So really the perfect time of year is fall and spring, right? We love those 2 times a year. Let me see if I can do this one. And you see that I kind of go back and forth between different leaves sometimes because if I don't do that, I'm going to end up having too much water and it's not dry enough to do anything with. So I have to kind of move around the page and work on different leaves at different times. So we're gonna do that. Maybe go to this one. I'm doing that kind of brighter orange on this one. What I was showing my students yesterday was like start with like this this dark amount of paint on that one edge, then just get some water, clean water, and just kind of blend it to the other side. And look at how it looks when you do that. So you have like a darker edge and a lighter edge. And like over here, this flower, you might want to add a little bit more yellow into there. Look at that bright yellow. So pretty. And see the layers are coming together. When you do layer upon layer, it really looks nice. And you still get that translucent look that watercolor gives you. So it looks really pretty. And see how it's kind of, I'm blending from that bright yellow over here. And it's kind of fading. I don't know if that's part of that leaf. Maybe. But I'm not going to do the same background as this one. This one has grass in the background underneath the leaves. I'm just going to make it, I'm just painting the prominent leaves. And then I'm going to just leave the background like I did. I think that's going to be good. Probably. So let's see. There's a leaf right here. Let's see what color should I make that one? Like the bright red maybe. And so watch this. Sorry, my voice. See, my voice is always going, y'all. So I get my honey tea and hope that I can actually talk again. Look at that. Can you see that? Yeah, that looks good. And so now I'm going to wet the brush just a little bit and move that to the rest of the leaf. And see how it's light and translucent, which is really pretty. And then this leaf, I'm not sure what color to make it. You know what? What if we did a little bit of green and yellow, and like a greenish yellow maybe? So we can do that. We can do a little bit of yellow on this. Right there. And sometimes when I paint, I'll start off real careful and then I start getting confident and I just like whip it around and do really fast. And then it's like, wait a minute, you're going really fast and you're going to mess up. So you should probably slow down. Let me get some of this sap green. I need to buy some more sap green, y'all. Can you see what I'm doing there? Look at that. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Look at that. I wish you could see it up close. Maybe you can zoom in. I'll see if I can zoom in. See if that works. So watch what happens when I dip this green in the center. Look at that. And that's where the green is on this leaf. It's so pretty, y'all. Look at that. I love it. Love it. So I may have to do some more green in a different part of the leaf. I don't know. I feel like I need to put some coming out this way and this way. And could put some right on that edge. That's really cool, isn't it? I think it looks neat. And I like the effects of the salt right here. I may end up doing this leaf a little darker, or giving it a shadow edge, a dark edge. I think that would be pretty. It's like coming along. It's coming along, right? See, I'll zoom it back out, maybe, if I can figure it out. Let's see, zoom back out. So this piece of paper, I'm not even sure how big this is, to be honest. Normally I try and do sizes that'll fit in a pre-made frame. So that's 8, and that's almost 9, 8 by 9. That's not going to fit a frame that I know of. I'll have to probably go to a gallery, framing gallery, and get it framed. Or I can use, you know what I could use? I could use a frame that's like 10 by 13 and get the mat custom made for this painting. That's what I could do. And that would save money, buying a fabricated frame and making the mat be custom. Which if you go to Michael's has custom mats for I think $20. So sometimes they're as much as a frame, but I think I'm gonna add some more yellow to this top leaf up here. I kind of want some more yellow up here. And sometimes people are looking at their painting halfway through and then they're like, I don't really like it. And what I suggest to my students is to take a photograph, like with your camera. Take a photo and see if you like it better on your phone. Because I'll be honest, sometimes when I'm looking at this painting on my table, I don't think it looks good. And I'll be very critical of it. But if I look at it on my phone, I can see like here, I'll just take a quick photo of this, and then I can take a picture of it and look at it on my phone, and then I can see where I need to improve. So I feel like these leaves are really pretty, but they're very light. And I might need to start adding a second layer to add some contrast in there, like around the edges to bring them out. So that's another thing is like you take a picture, you can see what does this need? Like sometimes we are just not sure what it needs until we take a photo of it with our phone. And then you can go back in and you can be like, yes, this is what it needed. A little bit of a darker edge. So look at this. I'm going in with this brown, my burnt umber, burnt sienna, I think. So I'm just going back in and creating that edge to make it a little darker and to stand out. But look at this. I'll just lighten that, maybe use a little bit of the burnt sienna and go back towards the stems. And I mean, sometimes the fun part of this is just kind of going back and painting over that and seeing what happens. Like, so cool. Look at that. It's already popping out again. Popping out better, I should say, than it did. So now I'm going to go over here and do just very lightly over that edge. And since this is arch paper, it's staying wet very, very long. It's not changing. I'm going to go and put some more of that orange in there that I started with. Looks like a light orange. So yeah, just kind of doing that. And seeing it pop a little bit more. Might go in with that orange and brown mix. You can mix on your paper. So a lot of people I've seen oh, what is her name? I've got Skillshare, and so I took some of her classes on Skillshare, and I forget her name. Davis or something. I gotta go back and look. I should know these things before I come live. But I took some of her classes for watercolor, and they were for the advanced. And she uses paint straight from a tube. Like she has like the tube. Let me show you. Um, so like, so this would be like her tube of paint that she would open up, and she would take her brush and just dab it in there. Then shut the lid. Or she'd leave the lid open, I guess. I don't even know what color this is. Let's see what happens. Yeah. It's not as thick as I guess I thought it would be. If you guys really get excited to do something else on here, you could even use some purples. Look at that. I'm just going to add some purple in this leaf. Look at how it's popping out now. That purple really added something to make it look more prominent. And see, I like that. I'll add some reds. Because you know, how do we make purple, red, and blue? I like using pre-mixed paints like sap green and stuff. A lot of people mix their own greens, their own purples and stuff. I kind of like buying it already mixed in a tube because then I know what color it is every time. But I will do a little bit of mixing of my own. Now, if you notice, this one leaf at the bottom with the green in it, it's kind of faded a little bit, so it's not as green in there. But it's okay. So let me see. Might add some of this orange. Draw that out a little bit. Make this one a little more prominent. And wet that and just blend it. There. And so put some of the orange in there. Maybe I'll put some more purple in this one. That might be fun. Can you see what I'm doing? Gotta double check on that. Look at that. That's really pretty. The purple on that one. This one still is kind of, might need to stand out a little bit. Or maybe it needs, like its neighbor next to it, be a little darker. Yeah, I think that'll look better, making that a little darker. And now this one right here is looking a little bit faded. So I might go in and get that orange. Kind of go around the edge right there. I like coming out and making it look a little bit more prominent. But it is kind of blending in with that one now. And then if I want, I can do that yellow Get that yellow in there. And that looks really kind of pretty. How it's blending. And the shine of the paper, or the light's right there, but you can kind of see it. It's becoming a little bit more. And you can even tip your paper and see if it flows where you want it to. Might add a little bit more yellow to this one. I kind of like doing that. Might add some red to this one. And some more red to this one, or orange. Maybe add some of this burnt sienna. So after looking at this again, I'll be like, what do I need to do to make it look a little bit more cohesive? There is something I drew right here. I'm not 100% sure, but that area might look a little bit bare. I don't know. Maybe I need it to be done. Now this is really wet, so when you're using your little chisel, sometimes you have to wait for it to be a certain like that's probably too dry. This one, on the other hand, might be the right stage for that to work. Let me zoom in so you can see what I'm doing. So watch how I'm doing the veins on this leaf with the chisel end of my brush. Because that was the right amount of, that was the right amount of dampness, I guess. This one was, well, you can kind of see on here it's getting dark. So maybe it's working. Let me try this one and see. Once you use this on your paper, you've dented it, and now it's going to have that permanent dent. Which is kind of cool. I like it. And look at that's almost scraping, so that has a little bit of white. It's kind of cool. And you'll learn as you practice this when you can do this. Like when is it the best time to kind of carve into your paper. But it's kind of fun to play with that and see, because like I think that tip's too dry, which is fine. But look at how it's kind of carving that leaf. It's making it have its own little veins, and it's kind of cool. Yeah. See, look at that. Isn't that pretty? It's turning into what we want it to look like. And then this one, go back over here and see about carving these little. See, now I'm wondering, is this too wet to do that? That looks good. know. I guess we can go. We'll just do a couple on this one. You can see what I'm doing. Just do a couple here and there. You can see that's starting to look more done. And let me zoom back out so you can see like the whole picture again. Whoops. I should probably preset like different zoomsies in on my OBS. So now I'm looking at this one up here, which you can see my pencil lines. I was watching this lady who used a pen that disappears when you heat it up, like with friction, I guess. And that looked really cool. So I was like, maybe I should look into doing that. Let me see what happens. What color's on here? I'm going to put a little bit more brown right there. Even though I already did those chisel marks in there, I think it'll be okay. Because I kind of want it to look a little darker on that edge. Don't you think it looks a little better when you darken that edge? And then yeah. And see what happens when it's like already chiseled and you paint over it. You lose that white, but that's okay. Kind of gain a little darker. It like goes into the crevice and kind of makes that point pop out. So now I'm going to do a little bit of this orange. Let me see on this one. Maybe a darker orange. And if you do a thicker consistency over a watery consistency, that makes it stay in place a little more instead of blending out. So I'm just trying to make that leaf stand out a little bit. And then I may even use this darker crimson red on this one. I think it'll make it look a little bit. And some of these leaves are kind of like twisting over. So it's okay if I use it or not. It's fine. Do a little bit more red on this one. Make that stand out. And then maybe a little orange. Those are so pretty together. And then this one, I think I want to do just a little bit of this yellow ochre. Maybe get a little bit thicker consistency. Too watery right now. Actually, it's lifting, it's not painting. So I need to let that dry. But I think it's already kind of turning into what I want it to look like. Now these stems coming up, like right here, I need to use a smaller brush. And let's see. So I like, this is an expensive brush, y'all, that my husband gave me. And this is that black velvet. And this is the one that you can take. Oh, it's very tight in there though. You can, these are travel size. So you can put them in here, you know, and it would be ready to go traveling and protect the tip. But I never really do that. I use this little hand sewn case my friend Dolly made for me. So, but yeah, we need to do some stems. So I'm going to mix a little bit of my burnt umber and make these stems. Make sure I have enough paint on this and enough water. Sometimes you try and paint something and it's skipping because there's not enough water, or sometimes it makes a big blob and it's too much water. So you definitely need to practice this, y'all. Practice doing some of this stuff. Having a steady hand sometimes is helpful. Let's see. I'm going to see one right here. And see one right here. Yeah, those are looking good. I'm not even really looking at my reference photo right now. Just kind of having fun. Now, instead of carving, you can always use your paint to make those veins. So you don't have to always use that carving tool. You can use a darker color. That line is a very dark line, but it's okay, I guess. And if you want, you can even go in with like a little mixture and do something that's a light vein. And then go back in with your green and make it kind of follows where you already painted. So that looks pretty. I don't know. This is looking pretty good. I kind of like it. This might need to stand out a little bit more with my that paint. And you can always splatter this. You can do a lot of fun things with it. I think I'm gonna probably stop here because I don't want to go too far and then not be able to like that. Sometimes I get I let the Holy Spirit take over, y'all, and the Holy Spirit can guide my hand in a way that I would never guide my own hand. If that makes sense to you? Just really letting him control it. I think as a Christian, I don't know if you guys are who are listening, but personally, I pray for that. I pray for the Lord to make me obedient to his will and just to follow what he wants out of me. What was my purpose here? I feel like one of my callings anyways is to be an encourager, to encourage people. And I just pray that, my videos are encouraging to you all and you get a lot out of them. I feel like art has always been something on my heart since I was 5 years old. And I've just really enjoyed creating sometimes abstract, sometimes mixed media pieces, sometimes watercolor, sometimes acrylic paintings. So it's really a kind of art is so diverse of a subject. You can make art with a lot of things. I like Bible art journaling. I know some of you follow me there when I do some Bible art journaling. And it's just really one of those things that I enjoy painting in my Bible, and what brought me to really be a believer in Jesus and following Him and His will for my life. And, I love my church family. Um, I love just being able to encourage people to follow the Lord. Look at how that's just blending right there, like that. And you can get really, really good right there. Get some darks in there. I like blending it. Just keep blending it. And I don't know, one of the ladies in my class yesterday, she was saying how she didn't like hers, but after looking at everyone's at the end, I was thinking hers looked the best, like better than mine. So I just feel like we've all got our talents, and how are we using our talents? How are we helping others? Are we being a servant to others? Are we helping others? A lot of ways I feel like I fail. I fail to help when I'm called to, and so I wish I was better at that. And I guess that's just part of being still learning how to do things. Well, I don't know. What do you think? Is that looking pretty done? I think it looks pretty done. I mean, I can add a lot more to that if I wanted to. But I feel like it's almost like they're falling from the sky. Like that's what I'm getting imagery of, it falling from the sky. So I think that is a good place to stop. Whoa, we all have gone like so far over. So far. Let me see if my little light is charged enough to make a light on my face. I should probably charge things a day before, maybe. So anyways, I am back over here now. But I hope that this has been a enjoyable and learning experience for you all with the watercolor. I know that for me it was fun to paint this, and I really like how that big leaf turned out. So looking back at that, if you see how the big one looks, that was the first one I started painting. And I really like the looseness of this. That's kind of my style, is to be kind of loose. Loosey goosey, right? So I don't really have a scripture that I already looked up, but sometimes I look up scripture for what time it is. And right now it is 11:17. So let's see if there's anything that pops up for 11:17. It says there's multiple matches. So Revelation 11:17 says, "He will judge the dead but reward his servants." And I was just talking about being a servant. So I hope that we are all being servants. And this lady that I've been meeting at the coffee shop, she's been talking to me about the Spirit. So listen to this. This one is really interesting. Numbers 11:17. "I will come down and speak with you there, and I will take some of the power of the Spirit that is on you and put it on them. They will share that burden of the people with you so that you will not have to carry it alone." We're not alone. We have the Spirit of the Lord with us at all times, but we're also in community with each other. We're brothers and sisters in Christ. And what's so cool about that lady I met at the coffee shop is that, there could have been a language barrier there. But instead, the Holy Spirit was uniting us as sisters. And we were able to speak about the Bible and our love for the Lord and His love for us. And how Jesus is our salvation. And that was what was so cool, is just being able to talk to someone that You have no common anything. You have no way of understanding each other's cultures or each other's lifestyles or anything. But the common thread was that we are believers, and that was so uplifting and encouraging. And I hope she follows me and sees this and knows that she's made a big impact on my life, and just reminded me again how I need to be in the spirit. And that's one of those things that is kind of a mystery. We don't see the spirit, but I believe I feel the spirit. And there's days when I don't feel the spirit. So I need to work at making that relationship stronger and focusing more on him than on this world and all my problems and all the politics and all the wars and all the everything that can distract. I don't need that distraction. I need to focus on the Lord. And if you aren't a believer yet, but you have some questions, look me up on my website. Send me a message, and we can talk about just any of the questions that you may have on being a believer and what kind of steps that takes. Because it really doesn't take too much. It takes faith. And I believe the Lord calls you. So if you're watching this, you probably are being called by the Lord to seek him and know him. And the best way is through the Bible. The best way is through his word. So that's why I always like to look up scripture for whatever time of day it is. And sometimes I wake up at 3:25 in the morning, or 2:56 in the morning. And it's like I look up scripture and it speaks exactly to what I need to hear. And that's just how the word is alive. It's breathing, and it's just one of those things that you can't explain. It's a mystery, but it always fits. It's always perfect. And so, anyways, I hope you all know that I love you. I pray for you, and I hope you have a blessed day. Mwah.